It feels like we are witnessing a monumental collapse. Every day, we are witnessing the collapse of a political career that was never really all that promising. We are witnessing the collapse of a career that was to be expected. I know everyone in this audience already knew that cackling Cam Harris, her political career, huge embarrassing failure. We knew she wasn't ready for prime time. The only difference now is the entire world knows. I often talk about looking at people's actions instead of listening to their words. This morning, we talked about Bronny James and how J.J. Redick and the Lakers organization claimed that Bronny is ready to warm the bench in the NBA. They talk about his defense. They talk about his potential as a two-way player. But when J.J. Redick gets the opportunity to play Bronny James on national television, he puts him in the game when the Lakers have a comfortable lead, and then he pulls him 3 minutes later. I don't know about you guys, but it doesn't sound like the Lakers actually believe that Bronny James is ready. You can tell a lot about someone by the way they handle themselves during a confrontation. You can tell a lot about how things are going by how someone handles themselves publicly. Are they bitter? Are they lashing out? Are they angry? Me personally, it is incredibly difficult to make me angry. Why? Because I've got no reason to be angry. There's not really much that you can say to me that is going to piss me off. What the hell do I have to be angry about? My channel is doing exceptionally well. My second channel is steadily growing. Got a beautiful wife, a stepdaughter that makes straight A's. My parents, my in-laws, my sister, brother-in-law, my nephews, my friends, everyone is happy and healthy. I got a great life. So why would I waste my time being bitter? Now, it wasn't always like this. When I wasn't where I wanted to be in my life, when I was waking up every morning and going to a job that I hated, I was a constant source of bitterness. I don't know if I was as bitter as Cam Harris, but I was pretty damn bitter, which is why I am able to recognize bitterness when I see it. I can recognize when someone is miserable. Now, I will give her credit. Cam Harris does an excellent job trying to disguise her bitterness with fake laughter, but you can only cover for so long. The gimmick, it is only designed to last for a certain amount of time. Unfortunately for Cam Harris, time is rapidly running out. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Before I show you this clip of cackling Cam Harris lashing out, let's go ahead and get to the sponsor for today's video, Saving America, the card game. I can't tell you how many times I have been asked over the years, KC, how do you know so much about the media and their woke agenda? Answer is simple. This is all I have to do. While you guys are working, I am watching clips of the wicked weed Joy Reid flying her broom around the studio. This is what I choose to do for a living, but the vast majority of people, they don't have that same luxury, which unfortunately means the vast majority of Americans, they are uninformed when it comes to the potential destruction of the country. But what if I told you there was a way to learn all of this while having fun with your family at the same time? That is the primary idea behind Saving America, the card game. Saving America comes with 54 cards that represent 54 internal threats to the country. This game is specifically designed to teach taxpayers, potential voters, basically, it's designed to teach normal people about the threats that America is facing. This game is great for nights with friends or fighting against the indoctrination your children receive at school by teaching them what is actually going on in America. So click the link in the description below. Use my promo code GOKC, GOKC. Save 10% off your purchase with Saving America. Yesterday, Cam Harris held a rally in Detroit. Detroit, the once Motor City. Have you ever wondered what effect the woke fungus can have on a thriving city? Have you ever wondered what decades of woke leadership looks like? If so, just look at the city of Detroit. Yesterday, Cam, she is speaking in Detroit to what she thought was a large group of her supporters. Now, if Cam had any level of awareness, she would have known that everyone in the crowd, they were not singing the classics from the cackling choir in the shower. If the audience consisted primarily of Cam supporters, the building, it would be half empty or fully empty. But at one point during her speech, Cam was attempting to talk about issues that she has no idea how to resolve. Issues that she probably helped create. I'm sure she was speaking in platitudes. I'm going to tackle immigration like Saints defenders tackle running backs. Now, that would be a rare case of Cam speaking the truth. Since the Saints lead the NFL in missed tackles, Cam is saying that she will enforce the same amount of immigration policies that she has enforced in the last 3.5 years. None. During her speech, though, Cam was rudely interrupted by a large group in the crowd. These are people that the mainstream media would describe as mythical racist. These are people that clearly did not recognize they were supposed to be in a safe space. You see, things like this, they're not supposed to happen in a safe space. These spaces are designed to keep those suffering through a stage 4 case of OMB, Orange Man Bad, from being unnecessarily triggered. I guess the Secret Service gave Cackling Cam the Donald Trump security team because security, they were unable to stop these miscreants from entering the rally. As Cam was speaking, she was rudely interrupted by supporters of Donald Trump. They were singing in unison, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump. Now, as the leader of the cackling choir, you would think that Cam Harris would respect their vocal cohesiveness. But instead, she gave them a passionate lecture. Cam was quick to let them know, I am speaking, peasant. Watch for yourself.
I'm here because we believe in democracy. Everyone's voice matters, but I am speaking now. You know what? If you want Donald Trump to win, then say that, otherwise I'm speaking.
All kidding aside, I am sure that was incredibly frustrating for Cam Harris. I'm sure it was embarrassing. I'm sure it was aggravating. I mean, you're up there trying to tell the good people of Detroit how you plan on making their lives worse over the next 4 years. And you were rudely interrupted by the Orange Choir, who is chanting the name of the man who wants to make their lives better. I'm sure that's incredibly frustrating, but if you're Cam Harris, you can't sell it. You can't show that it's bothering you. Last month, I was watching the Netflix documentary on Vince McMahon. At one point, they were talking about how Vince McMahon never sold anything. You never knew if anything ever bothered him. Steroid trial in the early 90s, he no-sold it. Monday Night Wars, no-sold it. The dozens of trials and tribulations that he has been through over the decades, no-sold it. If something was bothering Vince McMahon, he never showed it. That's how you got to be in politics, especially when you are running for president and you're dealing with hecklers in the crowd. You know why Cam Harris couldn't hide her bitterness? Because stuff like this bothers her. It gets to her. And the reason it gets to her is because she knows she is losing. If Cam was winning this election, if Cam didn't think Donald Trump was a threat to win, you think a group of Trump supporters at one of her rallies would actually bother her? No. If she was winning, she would probably laugh about it, or in her case, cackle about it. The problem is she is losing, and she is potentially losing bad. Thing is, this is not the first instance of anger and bitterness that we have seen with Cam Harris. Hell, it's not the first instance that we have seen in the past week. Remember earlier this week when we talked about Cam berating her own staff, how she cussed out her campaign manager, how she had her in tears because her campaign manager advised Cam not to attend the Al Smith dinner? You guys remember that? Over the past couple of years, there have been stories leaked about how poorly Cam treats her staff. Over 90% of her personal staff turns over every year. I think Cam has around I think she's got around 50 employees on her staff, which would mean, if I'm doing the math correctly, 45 of them are quitting every year. Perhaps that's why Cam Harris thinks the job market is on fire. Cam Harris, she is always hiring. While I was preparing this video, it was reported that Cam Harris declined to appear with Joe Rogan. Now, the Trumper, he is scheduled to appear with Joe Rogan on Friday. Cam received the same invitation from Joey, but she politely declined. Why? I can only speculate, but if I had to guess, her campaign advised against it. Interviews with Joe Rogan, they last 3 or 4 hours. Cam would not receive the same benefits that she receives from her pretend friends in the mainstream media. If she fucked up, if she said something incendiary, Joe Rogan, he's not going to do what CBS did and edit it out. So Cam Harris can't take that risk. Cam Harris can't risk a 3-hour interview. Hell, she can barely handle 3 minutes. She couldn't handle half an hour with Brett Baer. Like I told you guys before, whenever I see Cam Harris being interviewed, it always seems like she is hiding something. Now, you can get away with that in a 30-minute interview with pretend friends. You can get away with that when you are being interviewed by your bestie, Howie Stern. But when you're taking tough questions from someone like Joe Rogan for 3 hours, it is impossible to hide. At some point, you're going to slip up. Cam Harris can't take that risk. Now, according to Newsweek, most Americans haven't heard either candidate on a podcast. Now, I can understand that with Cam Harris. Hell, she's barely been interviewed by the media. But I know for a fact, Trump, he has been interviewed on several podcasts. Dave Ramsey, Patrick Bet David. I think he was even interviewed by that wrestling dude from Fox News that does a podcast now on Outkick. According to Newsweek, though, voters who have heard both Cam Harris and Trump on podcasting platforms, after listening to them both, an overwhelming majority of those voters, they are voting for Donald Trump. Maybe that is one of the reasons Cam declined to appear with Joe Rogan. Either way, it really doesn't matter. I think it's too late at this point. The damage has already been done. Unless something drastic happens, I don't see how Cam has a chance to win this election. I think this has the potential to be a landslide. What about you? Could this be a landslide? Also, let me know what you think about Cam Harris lashing out at one of her own rallies. This is the second time in a week that Cam Harris has lashed out. Why do you think that is? Is the collapse becoming too much for Cam to handle? Let me know. Sound off in the comments below. Like, subscribe, share the video. Appreciate your support. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com. I'll see you guys tomorrow.